Yes guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome to the first episode of Ballers Find a Way for 2022. It feels good to be back. I had to take a little break over Christmas just from social media, just from the channel, Instagram, TikTok as well in general, just to take some time for myself to reflect on where I'm going with football and also where I want to take this channel. Today, I'm going to fill you guys in on Matchday 11 and Matchday 12, the two games that we played before the Christmas break. Before Matchday 11, I remember in my previous video saying that the level of intensity, the energy, and also the vibe between the players had really improved in training, and that I had a lot of faith that this was going to translate onto the pitch. And I know that I've said this before, but this time feels different. This time is not based off hope or a maybe. This time is based off faith. This time is based off what I've seen from Tuesday, Thursday and Friday, every single training session being 100%. We went away to a beautiful, massive AstroTurf pitch up in the mountains, and we played a team which were doing decent in the league. And we stepped onto the pitch having had a really good, intense training session the day before the game, believing that we're going to carry that energy onto the pitch. However, we didn't really get into our stride at all in the game. We struggled to create chances, we struggled to be positive on the ball, and out of possession we weren't ruthless enough, we weren't intense enough, we didn't shut them down enough, and it made it quite easy for the opposition to play, in all honesty. After around 25 minutes, half an hour of mediocre play from both teams, I lost my man at a corner and we conceded the first goal. A few minutes after that, 5 minutes after that maybe, one of our centre-backs tries to drive out and be positive with the ball but loses it. We receive a counter-attack and we concede. And the entire game just felt like it was a throwback to the worst parts of our season, honestly. The moments where we could be playing well, we could be playing in a positive manner, but we end up shooting ourselves in the foot. As you can see by the footage, the VO, the camera that we used to film the games, was kind of dying towards the end of the second half, and I guess that's a good metaphor for our performance because we really didn't show a good account of ourselves at all and ended up losing the game 4-0. Personally, I was a little confused. I didn't play very well in my own individual performance, and I think I was adapting a little bit to a new position that I've taken up within the team, playing on the right side of a 4-3-3. Playing as a right winger, I think I felt a little bit disconnected from the game at times, as I was standing out there on the touchline waiting for the ball to come to me. But then when we lost the ball in transition, having to do a 20-30 yard sprint just to get back into centre mid to help cover. We had very few positive moments in possession during that game. Our best was probably from a corner where Dale, one of our centre backs, got his head to the ball but couldn't quite direct it on target. And the other good moment for us that we could have capitalised on but didn't was when the opposition tried to play out of the back. Their centre defensive mid took a poor touch. I won the ball and played it through, but unfortunately our striker didn't realise that he was offside and that the pass was intended for someone else. We stepped off the pitch feeling very defeated, and I personally was quite confused as to how we could have had such a good week of training but played so poorly on the weekend. But upon reflection, I think it's a good example of how one moment, one training session or a good week cannot change months of work previously. The intensity, the structure and the output of a team don't change after one training session, especially when you've had weeks and months previously of playing in a different way. On reflection, it was a little naive for me to think that one training session was going to mean that we were going to step onto the pitch and play almost in a completely different way to the way that we had been. I think in football and also in life, whenever you want to make any kind of change, it's much more often the daily, consistent actions that you take which are going to accumulate to make a big change over time rather than one moment of inspiration. So after the disappointing 4-0 loss, we went back to the drawing board, and Monday we went again. Many of our teammates started leaving because they were going home for Christmas, going back to their home countries, and so we were training with a much smaller group in the team, but nonetheless the energy was there. And so we stepped onto the pitch for match day 12 having the feeling that we weren't really fighting for anything other than the person standing next to us. We knew we weren't fighting for anything in the league. We're not going to win the title. Our points, yeah, I guess we could get mid-table, but really and truly the only person we were fighting for was a person standing right next to us. And it was clear from minute one that that belief and that work rate, not for yourself but for the person standing next to you, was what led us to have that level of intensity. As you can see, from kickoff, we went and hunted down the opposition team straight away. And the thing that I liked the most about this little clip is that Yes, we made mistakes. Yes, we lost the ball. But our response to it was not to cry or to beat ourselves up. It was to get up and to go again and to get the ball back. To not give the opposition a minute's rest. But I'm sure you've all heard the saying that old habits die hard. And unfortunately, we managed to concede in the first 5 minutes of the game yet again. I know that myself and a lot of the other boys on the pitch were thinking in their head, here we go again. Another game where we play well, where we fight for every ball, but maybe we don't quite make it. But instead of dwelling on that thought, we all decided to take action, to try and win our individual battles, and that accumulated in a brilliant team performance. The intensity did not drop. And so it gets to a stage of the game, I think it's around half an hour, 35 minutes in, where the opposition tried to play through, but the striker takes a loose touch. Brandon picks it up in the middle of the park and he plays it out wide to me. I take a touch to settle the ball and I play it down the line to Raf, who's made a brilliant run into the channel. He whips the ball into the box, but it evades everyone, including the defenders, and Ethan, who's playing left back, spots Brandon at the edge of the box. Brandon connects with the ball with a beautiful side foot finish, Mesut Ozil-esque against Napoli in the Champions League. All of a sudden it's game on, it's 1-1. The opposition had had few chances in the game, and the chances that they did have, our defence managed to deal with very, very well. In the second half, it was exactly the same thing. We approached the game with a level of intensity, with an awareness that if we wanted to get anything out of the game, we could not let up. After an even second half, we win a corner in around the 70th minute. Raf, our Irish striker, he takes the corner and whips it into the back post where Sanchito is waiting and scores almost a tap-in and wheels away with a cricket celebration and one finger up in the air. Finally, we're ahead in the game. It's 2-1, but we still have 20 minutes left and we have to see it out. It suddenly seemed like the Spanish referee realised that the non-Spanish team were winning and started to give a lot more calls in the opposition's favour. Naturally, we already know how the Spanish game is by this point, so we don't complain, we get on with the game, and we reset behind the ball anytime we give away a foul. But towards the end of the game, some of the calls from the referee were just ridiculous. There was one moment where our goalkeeper had the ball in his hands, he was waiting to kick the ball long, but couldn't because the opposition striker was blocking him. Instead of moving the opposition striker though, the referee decides that our goalkeeper's time wasting, and he gives an indirect free kick inside our box. I've never seen that being given before. Luckily we hold out and Henry comes up with two massive blocks to stop both shots that they take. By the end of the second half, we'd played 51 minutes. We'd had 6 minutes of added time and there were no injuries in the second half. So the Spanish referee really did all they could to aid the other team to win, but we fought, we didn't complain, and we did it for each other, and we came away with our first win of the season. About time, given that it was match day 12. In this game we were missing 2, 3, maybe 4 individuals with a high level of individual talent, but I think this win went to show that in a game like football, in a game where it's about the team first and the individual second, it's much more important to have a good energy, a good level of belief, and a good level of togetherness within the team. For us, this was naturally the best way that we could have ended the half season. We've been waiting all year for a win, and finally we got one in our last game before Christmas, and we went off and had a team meal to celebrate before we all parted ways. Now, looking ahead to this second half of the season, I know that on a personal level, I need to get much more organised with my time to maintain my focus between this social media channel and my own growth as a footballer. As I mentioned earlier, it really is the habits, the daily consistent actions that you take which develop you over the long run. I think as a footballer, it's very easy to look at other players and think that you want to be like them or you want to have that level of ability, but this can never come overnight. And I think doing the basics, taking care of your sleep schedule, what you eat, your gym routines, and your intensity in training, those over a series of weeks, over a series of months, they do far more than a short burst of motivation or a short burst of inspiration over a few days. In other news, myself and one of my friends here at the Academy have been working on a no equipment workout plan so that you guys who maybe haven't quite been introduced to the gym yet, haven't quite been aware of how to develop the physical side of your game, can gain a little bit of information and do some workouts within the comfort of your own home. The issue with a lot of courses or a lot of the information out there which helps you to develop either your technique or your strength or your mindset is that often you have to go and buy a gym membership, or you have to go and buy cones or hurdles or speed ladders. But with a no equipment workout plan, I believe that it can help you guys to really develop your strength, make sure that you're going to stay on the ball for longer and have a better impact on the team. With the new year and with that in mind, please remember that I'm always open to advice and I'm always open to listening to your guys' requests. If there's anything more specific that you want to see on this YouTube channel, if there are certain videos that you want to see on TikTok, please let me know in the comments down below. And remember that my Instagram DMs are always open for any footballers who just need a little bit of advice or a little bit of tailored help. With that in mind, my view for 2022 is that I'm taking responsibility for the things that are right in front of me, to stop complaining, to stop making excuses, and to take control of my situation. Remember, ballers find a way. First one of the season. I'm talking about before Christmas.
I look terrible.
El capitano! Hey!